We welcome you to Sports Talk. I'm Ted Emrich. Last episode of 2011, and we close out the year with girls basketball. All three teams in McKinney ISD played their district openers Friday. North and Boyd were victorious. McKinney fell short against Wiley. We'll recap those games and the rest of the young season with the coaches. And each school's going through transition. Each one lost a Division I player from last year. North also has a new coach, but as you'll see, Michael Oldham is no stranger to Lady Bulldogs basketball. Also coming up, the Dennis Baker State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week. This is Sports Talk. Coming off a third-round playoff appearance, Coach Debbie Harris admits this is a rebuilding effort for the McKinney Lionettes, and Debbie joins us now. And Deb, we'll get to the district opener from Friday night in just a moment, but first, just overall, for a young team, how have you seen them come together here so far this season?
I think we've made a lot of progress. I think we've definitely surprised some people. The senior leadership that we have from both Brianna Smalls and Brianna Blackburn has been an integral part of that. But we've got some kids that really want to be competitive and want to work hard, and it's a close-knit group, and we certainly have a long way to go, you know, in terms of basketball experience. But I think I'm very pleased with how much they've progressed.
Dropped the first district game Friday night against Wiley, 44-40. Tight game throughout. Overall, what do you take from that one?
Well, it was a good learning experience for us. You know, Wiley's certainly a very good basketball team. They've got a lot of size. They've got a lot of experience. You know, I felt like we did a pretty good job on the defensive end of the floor. We had some breakdowns that were crucial, you know, moments of the game. But we definitely struggled from an offensive standpoint, you know, and that seems to kind of be a pattern with us, just from handling the basketball, and people are trying to expose that weakness, and they certainly did that.
Yeah, you say struggling offensively, only 3 players scored for you. Brianna Smalls had half your total with 20.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're looking for more balance. How do you achieve that?
Well, you know, I was a little disappointed. You know, we had, like you said, 3 kids that scored, and Peyton Brenham scored 4 of those points in the last, you know, minute of the game. So, you know, we struggled trying to get into our offense, and, you know, Wiley, like I said, has got some pretty good sized guards, but we definitely, you know, Jasmine Nelson is usually a big part of our offense as well and gets a lot of points off offensive rebounds, and, you know, that just wasn't there. And, you know, all credit to Wiley. They did a great job of just slowing us down, and we do not play well slow. So, you know, hats off to them.
Brianna Smalls doesn't play well
No,
slow. She just radiates energy.
She does.
On the floor. Last year, nearly averaged a double-double, even though she's 5'7", undersized on the interior. What have you seen from Brianna now here as a senior?
Well, you know, she's really perfected her game. She's so fast with the basketball in her hand, and you know, there are times that she's our best ball handler, bringing the basketball up the floor, and she just plays so hard, and it doesn't matter if she's got a bigger person behind her. She's so fast with the ball that she can get around them and score. So it's been a lot of fun.
You touched on it earlier. You really like the leadership from both Smalls and Blackburn. Did it take time for Smalls to grow vocally? You know she's a leader by example, which she does on the floor, but did she have to do anything to get comfortable as a vocal leader?
I think she's still working on that. You know, she is one of those kids that wants to get out there, and she's going to give it everything she's got from baseline to baseline, but she struggles with trying to tell other people what to do. Especially with this young group. But I think that she's really starting to come into her comfort zone on that area, and they're really looking to her for some leadership. So that's going to be crucial.
Mariah Mitchell is one of the 6 sophomores you have on this roster, and she was a valuable piece off the bench last year as a freshman. She had 14 points against Wiley. What do you like about Mariah's development this year? She's
really turning into be a very good player. You know, last year Mariah struggled shooting the basketball, and it was, you know, if it wasn't a layup, we didn't want her to take it. You know, she's an incredible athlete, has got a lot of quickness, but she really worked on the spring and the summer on her shot, and she is really an all-around threat. So I've been very pleased with her. She's a huge part of our program.
You'll play McKinney North twice coming up in district play. You already saw them at the Collin County Round Ball Classic. Beat the Lady Bulldogs there. You also beat McKinney Boyd in that event, 3-1 overall in that tournament. I'm sure that was a boost for your team.
It was, you know, and especially right before you start district. Obviously, Boyd is struggling with some injuries, and that, you know, that was a big part of that. It's always good to kind of get a free shot at a district opponent, so I think, you know, Michael would agree that it was good because, quite frankly, we weren't really sure how we were going to defend all of his sets. So, you know, it was a good opportunity, a good confidence booster, but it's like we told our kids, it didn't mean anything. You know, what counts is when you get to district, so.
You know, Deb, you don't just replace a Division I point guard, and that's obviously been a struggle so far this season. Andre Gordon now playing at the University of San Francisco. I remember last year Gordon took a freshman in Peyton Brenham under her wing, and that's been a jigsaw puzzle for you, trying to find someone who can handle the ball, bring it up the floor, and initiate your offense. It's
definitely been a point of emphasis for us. You know, we feel like we've got 3 kids that were running in that spot that are not true point guards, and they're really trying to do a good job of sharing that experience. It kind of hurts us because it takes them out of an opportunity as a 2 or a 3 guard to be able to score. So we feel like we've got, you know, Chrissy Fontius is a freshman that we have up there that will eventually assume that role as a point guard so that we can use Peyton Brenham and Micah Stutz and BB more as the 2 and the 3. To give us a little bit more of a lift on the offensive end. But it's definitely been a struggle. It's a weakness for us, and people are definitely trying to expose it. And, you know, it's something that we work on every day, and we'll continue to improve.
Last week, Brenham had 7 points. Brandon Smalls had 23 as you beat Allen 62-50. In fact, he had a huge lead of over 30 points at one point, but it ended up being a solid win over a pretty good 5A team. Is that what you're showing your team as an example of how you want them to play going forward?
I think so. You know, we really came out very strong on the defensive end, and we've said from day one that we've got to survive off our defense. You know, handling the basketball is not a strength of ours, and perimeter shooting is not a strength of ours. It will be at some point, but it's not right now. So we really did a great job coming out being very, very aggressive on our scramble defense, got a lot of steals, and we're better when we play fast. So it was nice. It was a good win for us.
Deb, last year you had the number 2 seed in District 10 4A right behind the champion in Rockwall, and hey, you'd figure that Jill McDill and her team is the favorite going into this year. They have they have everybody back. How do you see this league overall this year?
You know, really, it's very tough. I mean, you know, I feel like you've got 5 teams in Rockwall, in Wiley, in McKinney North, McKinney High, and Highland Park that really could place anywhere from 1st through 5th. Rockwall Heath has certainly improved. They've got a strong presence in the post, you know, as does Wiley East. They've got a strong presence in the post. So I think from a district standpoint, it's a lot tougher. You know, last year we were kind of a veteran team and everybody else was young. Now they've got everybody back, and certainly, you know, they've got some great leadership from their point guards. And I think that's going to be a key piece. You know, Rockwall's got Morgan Day and Alexis Mason at McKinney North, and Colby Davis, you know, sharing that position with Sydney Wentworth at Wiley. That's a crucial piece of the puzzle. You know, and Highland Park's got a good point guard, so it's competitive, and it's going to be one of those deals that you're going to have to show up every night ready to play, and it's exciting, but it's also very, very stressful.
We bring up Rockwall, and you're going to face Heath coming up on Friday. Rockwall the Tuesday after that on the 20th. Overall, you feel like entering district, you're peaking at the right time. You're learning how to play. What's the next step for this group?
I think the next step is to make sure that we learn how to maintain a lead. In the last few games, we've struggled with that. You mentioned the Allen game. You know, we were up by 32 at one point, and they wound up closing the gap. And some of that is fatigue on our part, I think, and some of it's just mental errors. We struggled with that at the end of the game in Wiley. You know, we didn't make a lot of turnovers, but we made turnovers at the worst possible time of the game. So I think that's going to be a point of emphasis for us, is to just make sure that we're taking care of the basketball and continuing to play the way we start the game.
Well, Debbie, best of luck through the rest of the district season. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
All right, Debbie Harris, head coach of McKinney. The Lionettes may be young, but they're eyeing a 3rd consecutive playoff berth.